famously, there's two versions of the movie. There's the original Italian version, sometimes called the international version, and this is the one I most commonly have seen. And then there's the US or AIP version of Black Sunday. And so whenever you hear people talk about different versions, it's always these two. But I have an actual third version that I've never really heard anyone else talk about. And this is, I've read about Italian horror movies on the internet since the late 90s, probably. This VHS version from Sinister Cinema. There we go. And it's like a weird hybrid version between the two. Yeah, the American International version, they cut out about 3 minutes of the movie, and it's mainly dialogue and some stuff that was considered risque. So there's like blood squirting out of the mask when she gets the mask on that they cut out, and there's Kuvayan kissing the corpse of Asa, and then this when Kuvayan gets his eye stabbed, and then when Katya passes out, when her father, his corpse comes alive, they cut that out. So like it's kind of weird because she's looking at the corpse and his corpse comes out, and they cut away to something cut back, and she's just lying down. But apparently it was like too upsetting to see someone faint. I don't know. And also Vida, his corpse burning, they cut some of that out. And then the rest of it is dialogue. Yeah, the other thing is that they did a different score by Lex Baxter. Or is it Les Baxter? The original Italian score is a lot more romantic, and then the US score is more kind of bombastic and more like a conventional horror score. But like usually I've seen the Italian version, so I always imagine it with that score and that sort of romantic theme. Yeah, the other part of it is that they did a different English dub. So in the international version, there's an English dub that they did in Italy, and then when they brought it to the US, they did a new dub in the US with different actors. And another thing they also changed with the dubbing is there was sort of like an incest kind of angle in the original version that they took out when they dubbed it in the US. So anyways, this third version, it has most of the cuts from the US version, but it has the Italian score and the English dubbing it did in Italy. Except that the opening credits and the end credits they're spliced in from the Italian version, and also there's a maybe 2-minute dialogue scene in the garden with Barbara Steele and what's his face? Oh yeah, with Andre and Katya, and it's sort of spliced into this version. So I'll play that so you can just see how it's kind of spliced in.
Princess Katya.
Yeah, so it's a weird hybrid. So it has the score of the Italian version, the dubbing of the Italian version, the edits of the US version, except it adds in that garden scene that's only in the Italian version. Did that make sense? So I guess this is like the Sinister Cinema version is what this is. But overall, after I rewatched all three of these over the past week, I still think the original Italian version is the best version. But sort of a curio when I was going through my VHS tapes. The first official VHS tape version was the Italian version in the late 90s by Image Entertainment. But like basically in the 80s and 90s, you had gray market companies release versions. Um, yeah, so Sinister Cinema, this is the Sinister Cinema one, and I think Something Weird had their own version of Black Sunday. But I just thought it was interesting. The Sinister Cinema has their own cut of the movie. So